Hi everybody, thanks for joining Create with Dee and our Wednesday night Facebook Lives. Welcome. I am so kind of loving doing these themes each month. It kind of gives us several ways of thinking about a certain layout. And the month of June, I'm going to be doing pocket cards. Now, a pocket card is just what it kind of looks or sounds like, that there will be a little pocket element that will be in each card design. The one I'm going to show you tonight is going to be great for using up our 12 by 12 designer series paper. Sometimes like we might use half a sheet here or there, or you know, maybe there's just a pattern, quite honestly, that we don't gravitate towards for other card making. So this is a great one to use. Hi everybody. Hi Rita, thanks for saying hi. So let's go ahead and we'll jump right in on making this pocket card. I can see, I don't know, just definitely wanting to keep this one in our back pocket, so to speak. Well, here, let's talk about the measurements. Get this out of the road here. The paper that I'm using here tonight is Awash with Beauty, and it is a nice floral set. It's got some kind of almost like a little bit of watercoloring look to it, and then you've got some bold patterns on one side and then more of a solid pattern on the other. And so I'm using this pattern right here. And so what I did, hi Linda, hi Carla, thanks for saying hi. You're starting out with your piece of, let me see if I can, since I'm on a different device, I think I can adjust my screen just a little bit here. So if you can imagine, like I started out with a 12 by 12 piece of designer paper. And so cut it in half first. And then out of that sheet, we are going to use a 6 by 9 1/4. And ahead of time, what I've done is I've scored this, and I'll have all of the measurements on the videos, everybody, so you don't have to worry about trying to write down measurements. Afterwards, I'll have everything up here. And I just turned it on this side because I think you can see the score lines a little better on this side of it. We're going to score it at 2 3/4 and 7 along the 9 1/4 inch side. And then we're going to turn it and score it at a 1/2 inch at the bottom. So the 1/2 inch, if your paper has direction, you want to have the 1/2 inch score mark down here at the bottom. Other things that we're going to need is a piece of designer paper. Whoops. And this is just used from wanted to show how like you can really maximize this. So out of the leftovers that were here, what I did is I cut a piece of 1 1/4 by 4 piece, or 4 1/4 piece of designer paper, and we'll use the other side of it as a band. Also going to need some paper for the inside to make our card that will come out of the pocket. We'll use Merlot. This will be cut at 4 by 5 1/4, and a layering piece of basic white cut at 3 3/4 by 5. And then some scrap for die cutting and stamping. All right, so for the pocket, you guys, this is so easy. So just gonna go ahead and get my bone folder here, and we'll get nice crisp edges. I just kind of finger pressed that earlier so that we could see it. And then we'll bring this one in. And then we're going to cut out this corner piece here, this section, and this section, leaving just the middle section. And I'll show you, we are gonna miter the corners here a little bit, and I'll show you kind of 2 ways that you can do that. So again, we're going to take out these 2 outside bottom corners. And so with our paper snips, like one way is to go up to the score lines where they meet. And whoops. And then just take a little angle cut. That's what I mean by mitering. We'll just do a little angle cut. So you could do that in kind of 2 steps, or if you wanted to, you could come up here and cut. Well, I guess, you know, I just kind of cut, and then you can just cut again. I didn't go up quite far enough. Beep. This setup, now I'm on a different angle, and now I got myself all backwards. All right, so, and then I think I want to even that up just a little bit. There we go. All right, so these fold in, and where they overlap, this is where we want to put the adhesive. So if you notice, like one section's smaller than the other, on the larger section, this is where we want to put our adhesive. I'm going to use multi-purpose glue. You could use Stamp and Seal or Stamp and Seal Plus 2 if you'd like. And I'm going to close the smaller flap first and put that over. And it's more important that the top part of it lines up. You have a little play on the bottom if you didn't cut it quite right. And then this little flap over here we will seal up as well. Oops, get my bone folder. And we have just now made our pocket. This is great. This is, I'll give you some other ideas of what you can just do with this too. Now in the sample here, we do want to let the recipient know that they need to, that there's something else in here. So I always call it, we need to get us a punch or a die to take a little bite out of the top of it. If you wanted to, you could take your layering circle dies and run both, run the whole thing through and die cut it that way. If you happen to have the 2-inch circle punch, it is retired from Stampin' Up, but if you have a punch, it makes it a little easier, I think. But you can use your die cutting machine as well. And you just kind of see where you want it and take a little bite out of it. And then that's the pouch part of it. And then we had this little band piece. While I have this out, I'm going to go ahead and put that on. So this is just from the designer paper, the leftovers of the, when we started out with the 6x12, and then we cut that down to a 6x9 1/4. So we'll use that as a little accent across it. All right. So then we could just do like whatever stamping we want to do on the inside. So if that's as far as what you want to see the basics, that's it for the measurements. If you want to stick around a little bit, I'll kind of show you some new decorating techniques possibly. All right, I'm going to be using the Art Gallery stamp set as well as the Floral Gallery dies. There are a bundle that matches the paper exactly. I'm just using something that I had that was relatively close to it. So, sometimes it's just fun to add your new designer paper to your stash. What I'm using is this floral image here from the stamp set. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some color to the stamp itself using my blending brushes. Now you may have seen me do this before. If you have the old sponge dauber, or you have sponge daubers, or just sponges, that will work as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up a little bit of Polish Pink, and I'm going to just kind of pounce using the blending brushes on there. And then I'm going to take the Mary Merlot, and let's see, I think I'll go ahead and use the same brush, and I'm going to get some darker color and kind of make this a little darker than what my sample was. Okay, put that off to the side. Now I'm going to take some Granny Apple Green, and I've got a blending brush that I dedicate to greens. And we'll get the leaves. And I'm going to breathe on it to activate the ink. and stamp. So that's going to give me just a little more of that Merlot color than what my original sample is. Okay, get that out of the road. So the first thing I wanted to share with you guys is the new magnetic plate that Stampin' Up! Has for the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I was using my Stampin' Up! Big Shot, and I decided to go ahead and get this simply for the magnetic plate, because I thought that was going to be so nice to have for intricate die cutting without having to use washi tape to hold it down. So what I have is their plates are marked, which is great. So we need plate 1, the magnetic plate 5, and our paper goes right on top of it, and then our dies hold right into place. So we can just line those up like so, and then the top plate, or one of the acrylic plates, number 3, go right on top. And then that just lines and holds it right into place. It might jiggle just a second. And then you bring it back. So if you do get the magnetic plate, what they recommend is that you do move your dies around. You don't want to cut it, keep using the same spot. So if I was going to do another one, I might move that over this side, move it up here, and just move it around so the same spot doesn't get worn all the time. But then that's how easy that was to die cut out something without having to get out our washi tape. Okay, so this is done. All right, so I am going to next get some ribbon to go around here. And I've got the white glittered orgami ribbon. And kind of going to do this in a couple of ways here, a couple of different things. With that same circle punch, or the circle die, I die cut or punched out Mary Merlot in a 2-inch circle, and we'll go ahead and put that down. And I'll go ahead and get 2 dimensionals on that. And then we'll get our accent flower on the top. Same thing, we'll put a couple dimensionals on it. And we'll put that down. All right, so let's see here. I've got to get another piece of basic white. Hang on with me just a second. I'll find my 3 3/4 by 5 piece of basic white just as soon as I shut this camera off, by golly. So one, I wanted to show you the magnetic plate that you can get for your die cutting machine. Second thing is that there is masking tape. It's back in the accessories section in the back of the catalog. It's called Stampin' Up! Masking paper. And what this is that it's just as it sounds. It masks off areas that you don't want to be stamped. Now, in the past, we could take our Post-it, like our sticky pads, and do that, but this masking tape kind of does the same thing. So what I'm going to do, or what I did do here, just to kind of show it first, and I'll be using this masking tape, I'm sure periodically, but what I did is I stamped the sentiment, and then I masked it off, and then I stamped the images around it, peeled off the mask, and then you get this nice line here. So this way the images go around where I have the masking tape. Ahead of time, what I did is, and this is, you know, you can die cut this, and that's what it's intended to do. You can die cut it, you can run it through your trimmer. And what I did is I trimmed off a 1/2 inch down the bottom. Okay, so I have my masking paper ready to go. All right, we are going to stamp from that stamp set from the art gallery, one that says "You are lovely." So then this can be used as a birthday card, thinking of you, whatever you would like. I'm going to use my Granny Apple Green. And I'm going to stamp it up to the side, just for something a little different instead of in the middle. Now I'm going to take my masking tape or paper, and like a little tip is the center of it has like a crease to help you start to peel the paper away. And so you just want to find that crease, and then that helps you peel the paper away. And just like a sticky sheet, this can be used a couple of times. So if you're going to mass produce this, you don't need to keep cutting a 1/2 inch. You'll know when the stickiness is off. And let's see, I'm going to tape that off. So I've stamped my image. And this could be a die cut, whatever you would like. And put that down. So now that's going to act as our as our post-it note. So I'm going to get my same image again, and let's go ahead and we're going to ink it up just like we did before. I'm going to and let's say that I want to go right here in the middle. On my other one, I did this 3 times. I won't make you watch me do it 3 times, but you'll get the idea. Okay, so I stamped, and then when you take off your masking paper, and you just want to go slowly because it can take the paper off if you go too fast, just like it would with a post-it note. And now we've used that to stamp around the image. So you can repeat that, you can do other shapes or whatever, and go from there. And then this is what, you know, an idea of what you can do with that. All right, so I will add more of that. So again, here's my tape, and I could put that off to the side and use it again if I'm going to mass produce that. Well, let's go ahead and we'll kind of complete the card. This design, I'll come in and I'll kind of zhuzh that up just a little bit, but I wanted to give you the general idea of it. And we can go ahead and just with our liquid glue, put that down on our card, and this is going to go on our inside of our pocket card. Whoops. I'm whoopsing because I didn't have it pressed down for the glue. And then that just slides right in there. And then we have our pocket card. So again, this is something that you could almost make up the pockets ahead of time. So if you wanted to save until you knew what sentiment you wanted to do, you could just make the pockets on that. And I'll come through and I'll reply to the comments here later on. Again, on this setup, I can see some of them, but then it kind of stops on me. I did want to share with you some of the another card that I made using that same idea. This was from He's the Man designer paper, and of course it has those cutouts. So this is the one that says, you know, you're a champ on it, and these were just part of the embellishment punch outs that you get with it. And then that's another layout idea that you could do with your extra paper, only this time I just cut it down to, I think this is 3/4 of an inch by 5, and layered it on the inside of it and made 2 of those. And so now, like you're a champ, I'd have this one kind of ready to go for, you know, a birthday, you know, maybe somebody that's accomplished something, ready to go. I kind of have enough of my Father's Day cards ready to go, but so this will be a masculine card I'll have in my stash on it. So there's our pocket cards, and I hope that you might give this a try with some of your leftover or some of your new beautiful 12 by 12 paper that's in the new annual catalog. All right. If you would, as always, if you want to leave a comment on here, I will draw for a winner. I'll let somebody choose whether they would want the masculine or the floral design. And I'll send you out a sample for watching me here today. I'll do the drawing about 10 o'clock tonight. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in, and I hope that you have a wonderful Wednesday and the rest of your week. Happy crafting. Bye-bye.